All right, so welcome to another episode of Slate It with DVTV. This week we have the amazing camera crew of Deer Valley Television. We've got Brandon, we got Daniel, we got Henry, Chan, Jose, and Dereja with us today. Anytime you see a great shot on DVTV, these are the people behind the lens, doing all sorts of crazy stuff for you this year um, with our video program. So today, our camera operators in DVTV are going to be discussing the film Blade Runner 2049, which was directed by Denis Villeneuve. This is his seventh film that he's made in his career, and it's from the year 2017. You may recognize his other films, Prisoners, Sicario, Arrival, and coming soon is the new Dune movie, I think in 2021 or 2022 is when that's slated to come out. Blade Runner 2049 had a budget of $150 million, and it only made $92 million in the U.S. Villeneuve said he's made the most expensive art house film in history, and only lost $60 million. It did recoup a little bit worldwide. Worldwide, it made $260 million for a grand total of $340. So not too bad, but it's not probably what they were looking for when they made Blade Runner. So the way that this show works is we ask questions to our camera people, and they answer them with specific scenes from the film, and we kind of discuss them and see what kind of new insights we can glean from the film. I, of course, am the host, video productions teacher at Deer Valley, Mr. Ulf. You don't need me on camera. I'm not that important. Hopefully, these guys will be doing most of the talking. So let's get right to it and go with our first question. Obviously, we're a camera crew. So the first question, I'm going to put it to Brandon up there in the upper left-hand corner. Brandon, what do you think the best shot, the best single image captured in Blade Runner 2049 is? And when does it occur?
In my opinion, the best shot was at 150:51, where there was the hologram shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, depending on if the hologram is real or not, which I don't know if it was, but I think that's a real interesting shot to make with the lighting to capture both of the characters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyone else jump in if you have anything to say about this shot as we go on? You guys can just pop in, and I'll try to moderate. But if you have anything interesting to say about this shot, you can go ahead and say it.
It's crazy. I put the same for the best shot
Mm-hmm.
because it was all like orange earlier when they were at the mansion, and then suddenly they were in like the theater casino part and just lit up. I really liked that. Yeah, I like that scene too. So.
Yeah, this scene is pretty wild. If you jump through it, originally, I actually saw some interesting bits about this scene here that we'll let play a little bit as we talk about it. Originally going to be much more of an action sequence, but they were having and they were going to have the holograms kind of stay up the entire time. If you recall earlier in the scene, the holograms kind of glitch and come and go. But originally they were there the whole time, and they were having trouble matching. They couldn't get the continuity right, and they're like, well, you know what? Instead of having it be an action, let's have it be more of a manhunt in the dark, where Elvis is there and then glitches and then he's not. So it's kind of like the casino is breaking down, right? So it's, there's one gunshot. Where is he? And he's there and he's not. He's in the darkness. And I do really like the lighting here. I think the lighting here is just astounding. Really, really cool. I'm always a sucker for, and you can kind of see the Ridley Scott being the director of the original Blade Runner, right? Backlit smoke is such a theme for all of his films, Alien and Blade Runner, and seeing the beams of light cut through the room is a very Ridley Scott move. Daniel, what do you have for your best shot?
For my shot, I chose the one at an hour 30.33. I don't know, it's or is it there? No, not there. At an hour and 30 minutes in.
Yep, an hour 30 and 33 seconds.
Oh, isn't that the same? Oh.
1 hour 33 seconds. Gets me right here. Anyway, if it's close, what was the shot you were looking for?
Oh, it's actually the one of the cover right there when he's standing in the orange haze. The timing on my final
Oh,
must
I
have been
understand.
kind
I
of.
understand. When he goes to Vegas to look for Deckard. Um, this is around the hour 40 mark, right
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah, I've got that an hour 40 minutes, or an hour
Okay.
40 and 40 seconds. So yes, the one that's kind of one of the iconic shots of the film. And why did you choose this shot?
I think because I really like the color palette of it. I like the warm colors, and I like the way it's like framed and everything with like the silhouette. And also when it actually cuts to that shot, there's like this really cool like bass on it when it cuts to it.
Here, let's get the audio up here. Oh yeah. Yeah, the one of the crazy things about Blade Runner is they don't really hold your hand too much, and so you don't really know why Vegas has turned into this desolate wasteland. Like there must have been some battle or war or some catastrophe that turned Vegas into this wasteland, right? They say it's irradiated a couple times, but they don't really delve into it too much, and I think it's just so ominous and eerie feeling. And everyone was making the illusions when San Francisco looked like this a couple weeks ago because of the fires. It was kind of funny to see life imitate art in a way. But yeah, this is a famous scene. Anyone else? What do you guys think about these sequences in this shot here specifically? Chan, what do you think? Give me a thought on this one.
I really like it because it's like very centered,
Hmm.
and then like I know that that's like a really great shot because he's in the middle, and it's the intention is on Officer K.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
normally you don't shoot things dead center like that, right? It's kind of one of the
yeah,
first rules is to use rule of thirds, and so when we see something break that, it kind of it shocks us a little bit, right? With the horizon right across the middle and K right in the middle.
hmm
It does. It's a very iconic image. All right, Henry, what did you say for your shot? Henry, can you hear us? Oh yeah, that's you. Unmute.
Oh my God.
What
Oh,
what
I
shot?
said
Give me a time frame here.
I said at 15:45.
Oh, sorry, I got the wrong. 00:15
Yeah.
45. There we go. Right here.
Wait. No, I think a little bit ahead. Right here, right here.
Mm, yeah.
I think this scene I really liked because it explains a lot about his environment and like the camera angle and it's like tilted. I don't know. I really like this scene.
Yeah, that's a wild looking one. The depth and the spiral and everything is really cool. What do you think, Jose? Oh, you're muted, brother.
The way the stairs continue going down, it's like the lower down you get, the darker it gets, and it brings that kind of like tension
Mhm.
to the film.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, it does such a good job of like kind of that dystopian future, right? It's the future and things are advanced, but they're also like worse in some ways, like these slums that these people live in. And then also, like Henry said, you kind of get like the people are mocking him. Beautiful tin plate soldier, right? Replicants are still like second class citizens in this future, right? They call him skin job and all those things for not for being an artificial person. That is a cool shot. I like that one a lot. And the lighting, so good. Chan, what do you got?
I have my best single shot at 1:48. So like a 00 minute.
Yeah, 000148. Ugh, I did it wrong. Gosh darn it. 000148. Oh, it's because I'm not typing. So right off the bat. All right. All right. Yeah, the eyeball.
Yeah, and I just feel like this extreme close up is just so detailed, the misty green eyes, and it's just something that I want to do like in the future
Mm.
filming.
Eyes are the gateway to the soul, and that's kind
Yeah.
of the question of Blade Runner, right? Is do replicants have souls? Are they equal to humans? And in the original Blade Runner 1982, the test the one way to tell if someone was a replicant or a human was they would use this machine that would kind of scan their eye. And so that's kind of a theme for the whole film, right? If you're opening the movie with this shot, you're basically telling your audience eyes are going to be important, right? So yeah, it's a really the greenness of it. I wonder if it's done in post or if they found someone with eyes that green. And did they even tell us whose eye it is? You know, they don't really tell us whose eye it is. It could be anyone. It's not Deckard. It's not Kay's. Kind of interesting. All right, Jose, give me your shot if you would.
My favorite shot was the second hour, 31, 38.
01, 31, 38.
No, 2, 31, 38.
2, 31, 38. My bad. 02, 31, 38. Here we go.
There you go. That shot, like, just the way how he stands really still when the snow just comes down him, like if he's like relieved after like everything he's gone through really hit. That, yeah, I really like that shot.
And what's funny is I'm kind of seeing a mirror with Daniel's shot from before, the very centered, almost silhouette-like from the super hot desert of Vegas to the snow. You know, he kind of looks like a silhouette here lying on the stairs, so it's almost like a mirror, a callback. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's a great shot. Let's see. Very cool. Good choices. And Dereja, I think she's had the same hologram battle scene as Brandon that we discussed already. So that's good choices by you guys. Really interesting things to look at when people are watching this film. All right, so let's go with our next question. Which scene do you feel has the most impact or weight for you, Brandon?
I think the most impact or weight was at 2154.
2154. Oh yeah.
I think this one's good because the actors I don't think are there in the same shot, so they are acting based off of nothing, right?
It's interesting. You know, years ago I would have said yes because you would have needed, you know, to shoot Joy on a green screen. Now, I mean, with the money you can throw at a movie, you could rotoscope every frame. You know, that would account for the $150 million total, right? They would be painting her and doing effects on her every frame. But either way, I mean, even if she's there, if she's not, I definitely remember thinking when I saw this in theaters and when they go to kiss and then she freezes, right? I mean, kiss, I use the term kiss lightly because you can't touch her. She's a hologram. But here, and she freezes because he's getting a call and just feeling like, man, this guy, his job is to go out and kill other replicants, and he's a replicant. He lives in a terrible apartment. The one thing that he has isn't even real, and even that can be kind of interrupted at a moment's notice because of a call from work.
The dig's come through. We have a new lead.
It crushed me at that moment. But yeah, that is a cool one. Anyone else have any thoughts when they saw this scene the first time?
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought as Brandon. The tension between both of them, and then how the voice message interrupts everything. It just like really bothered me. It's like, why?
Yeah,
just why?
Very much so. It definitely, I think, is to help you maybe feel for and identify with Kay a little more, right? Because he's in this, you know, subordinate position. So we're always going to root for the underdog, right? And this just makes him more of an underdog, even though he's strong and he's a robot, or not a robot, but a replicant. Daniel, give me your most impactful scene, if you would. Nope, still muted, brother. There we go.
Okay. So my timing might be off because the last one, but
Yeah.
So if you could try somewhere around like 2 hours 5 minutes. 0205.
This is where I'm at.
Okay, no, my time is completely off. I don't know what happened.
Strange.
Yeah, that is a completely different scene.
What scene are you looking for, and we can find it?
Okay, so it's when he's in Vegas and he's talking to Harrison Ford, and and it's one line that Harrison Ford says when they're at the bar. So it's before this.
What's the line? Do you recall? Oh, it's here. They are.
Oh yeah, I wrote it down. The line he says it's when he says sometimes to love someone you got to be a stranger, and it's after what's his name? After Joe asks about or says how he like never saw his daughter or his kid. Then I don't know, and then Harrison Ford's face. I think because I tried to watch the first movie right before watching this, just so I could kind of prep for it. So I think just having the context of the first movie kind of made that line a little bit like kind of remembered it more, I guess.
So the first question I have for you is, if you watch the first movie, there's like 3 different versions of that movie. There's the theatrical cut, the extended cut, and the director's cut. And I'm hoping you watch the director's cut. That seems to be the more definitive version these days, without the voiceover and with the more ambiguous ending.
I think it's called the. Oh, sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I think it's called the final cut.
Final cut, yes.
Yeah, so I watched that one.
At the end of that one, Harrison Ford and Rachel just get in the elevator and it just ends. Whereas in the original theatrical version, they thought that was too bleak. And then they ended it with a voiceover of him saying, well, it turns out that Rachel, no lifespan. And you kind of, oh, they're just going to go off and be happy forever. But Ridley Scott afterwards said, no, that I didn't want that. They made me put that in there. And so when he brought his final cut out, they got rid of that voiceover line. So yeah, by having the context of who Deckard is and the things he went through in the first movie, it definitely opens up a lot more in this scene here. And it's just, especially because, at this point you think that Kay is possibly Deckard's son. Right? Could he be the child? Is he the miracle? Right? All the signs are kind of pointing to yes at this point. And I think, in addition to the color and just kind of the location, it just really all adds up there. Henry, what'd you put for your most impactful scene?
For my most impactful scene, I did 1 hour and 12 minutes and 5 seconds, I'm pretty sure. And this scene.
Why'd you choose this scene?
I chose this scene because he just gets flashbacks, and then he gets he feels, I think, because my best line is like connected with this scene too, because he said in my best line, he said it's a dangerous coincidence. And then once he like finds his toy, then he starts like thinking about the situation, and then he starts crying. And all that.
Yeah, it's he thinks that this sculpture is, and when he finds out it's actual wood, he thinks the memories are his, and that means that he was born and not made. And so this is kind of more, and it's kind of his I don't want to say his hope. It's like his first kind of piece of tangible evidence that leads him down this path. Before he thought, but now it's like he kind of has some proof that this tale is more than just in his head. And then when and like you said, mixed with the flashbacks before, and the fact that he would rather throw his sculpture in the furnace than give it to those bullies is also kind of impactful as well. Love the music here. And then in the first movie, unicorns play a big role, and so having it be a horse, and I've heard some rumors online that in the close-ups you can see that it used to be a unicorn, but that the horn broke off. You can see the broken part on the horse sculpture later in the film. Chan, what do you have for your most impactful scene?
The timeline is 1 hour, 21, and 10 seconds.
1 hour, 21, 10. Here we go.
Yeah, and I just thought, like, who was Dr. Anna Stelline was like the best acting because as he remembers his memories, because the whole audience is thinking like Officer K is like the child,
Mm-hmm.
and you want it to be,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like a twist, like it's actually her memories.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like a really impact.
Yeah, and having him between glass and everything, and having his reflection there is just an
Yeah.
awesome shot. Yeah, and it's just more of that misdirection, right? This memory is real. Of course, he attributes that to, oh, I had this memory, but it's the fact that she had that memory is what made it
Mhm.
real, right? But she's not telling him that. She's got to keep it under wraps a little bit. Yeah.
What happened?
I think he breaks down after this. I think he goes outside and screams, maybe.
I know it's real.
But yeah, that's the. Let's see here. Let's see if I was right.
I know it's real.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. Jose, what do you got? Unmute, brother. Unmute.
I didn't put the timestamp, but my favorite one was when Kay was a kid with the little horse.
Mm-hmm.
When he was running away from those kids.
Oh
And
man.
the way he just broke down when he wanted to like hide, didn't want to give the kids the toy and hid it in those tunnels or tubes that they were.
Yeah, it's like a furnace or something. Yeah.
The way he just cried, I actually cried on that one. Yeah.
It's kind of like, would you, it's he's kind of fooled them into thinking that he's thrown it into the
Fire.
or she, I guess. I mean, it's really the girl that we just saw. It's really her memory of something that happened to her. Um,
Hmm.
and then they beat her up anyway. But it's like the idea of like you would have to give up something you love for safety, right? That's kind of the theme of the whole movie, right? Deckard couldn't be with his daughter because he knew she'd never be safe if he was with her. And Dereja, what did you put for your most impactful scene?
I had the same one as Chan, but I put like 12109. And I said that because I was hoping that Kay will be a replicant. Because when that scene came up, I was like, it would be more painful for him to like actually have lived that
Mm-hmm.
instead of the memories being inserted in his mind, thinking he had lived that. I mean, he can't really tell the difference.
Yeah.
But then she started crying, and I was like, why is she crying? And I was like, okay. Then I thought maybe because this is her job, so she she has a strong connection with all the things that she does. But then I realized later on that she was the hyper child. But yeah, mainly because it would be harder. It's harder to actually have lived that than thinking you have lived that.
Right.
That's
Right.
all.
Yeah. This is a really good one. Good choice. Good choices by both of you. All right. Let's take a look here. There was one bit of interesting thing I found when I was researching. The director, Denis Villeneuve, he was, he's directing it, and Ridley Scott, he directed the original Blade Runner in 1982, and he was a producer on this film. Ridley Scott was to kind of give his input, right? I mean, he basically directed and storyboarded the whole first movie, and so he was on set. But Villeneuve said that it was really jarring to have Ridley Scott kind of over his shoulder while he's directing, and so he actually asked, like, could you like leave for the when I'm on set because it's too I can't work with my hero like over my shoulder, um, and he almost felt like he said he felt like he had to live up to expectations when Scott's right there, and so he couldn't really do his job effectively. So he had to ask Scott to not be on set when he was shooting because he was too worried thinking about getting his approval or whatever. So that's kind of an interesting thing about the film. Scott was heavily involved, but not on set during the shoots. All right, let's go to just what's the best sequence? What's the best sequence overall for you, Brandon?
The best sequence.
Yeah, best scene overall.
Best scene overall. Probably the I did the climax of 2:18:42 of the water fight scene, basically. I think that had a good sequence overall because I think it was insane like how they fought just in the water. And I think that's a hard thing to do for acting.
I mean, it's also interesting that, and this is another thing that's interesting about Blade Runner, is that both Blade Runner movies take place on Earth, which is the slums really of the galaxy, right? Anyone with money and power gets off Earth. I mean, look at this luxury, fancy vehicle they're flying in, and they're going to leave the planet. Earth is the dregs, right? So we're used to seeing this kind of dystopian future with trash and pollution, but off-world is a fancy place with leather-lined car seats. And so that's kind of your only little glimpse of it. Yeah, I remember this sequence when Deckard is almost drowning, and this here when Kay is holding her under, and just the shots from under the water are really cool, like that right there. And then he has to save Deckard before he drowns as well. Yeah. Very cool. Anyone else have anything to say about this sequence? No? All right, Daniel, what do you have for your best overall scene?
The original answer I put was the scene where he gets his memory read and he freaks out. But I guess a new answer I think I also liked a lot was kind of the opposite scene at 2:06, which is when he finds out that he's not the child and he kind of just like sits quietly. And then well, actually it's after this, but then that line she says there, when she says dying for the right cause is the most human thing we can do. I kind of like that because it's kind of what pushes him a little bit at the end. It's like his motivation when he decides to save Deckard and get him to his kid. Yeah, I like that whole scene.
And the light here, right, just ever so subtle. They've been playing with reflections and dancing light. The whole film is definitely a theme that resonates throughout the whole film, and even in this kind of hidden subterranean place. It's not super fancy. Like my favorite shot probably in scenes are like these ones here in the corporation building when the water is let's see if I can find it here. I just want some more water sparkling and floating around like this. This kind of stuff, and it's like a theme they kind of hold throughout the film, which is pretty interesting. Like that is just wild. And so I see the echoes of it in your scene, right? I mean, it's just ever so slightly still there. What you're gonna say?
Oh, I think it's also there a lot when Deckard is captured by Jared Leto. And even like the light on them is like moving around, and they keep becoming like put in shadow and everything.
Yes. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Just awesome. And then this is the big reveal, is when he's made the copy of Rachel from the first movie. And they CG'd. This is obviously the actress who played Rachel. I mean, that movie's 30 years old at this point, 35 years old. So you can't just get her looking like that. They found a body double who had the same kind of proportions and could have the same kind of walk, and then they just kind of CG'd the face over the top. And then I also read that they had to keep the actress who was the original, I forget her name, who played Rachel. They had a non-disclosure agreement so that she couldn't tell anyone that Rachel was in the new movie, and like, oh no, I'm not in it at all, right? That way it wouldn't ruin any surprises. But yeah, there's the same shimmering light thing um, in that. So Henry, what do you have for your favorite scene overall?
For my favorite scene was the fire one. I'm pretty sure.
Do you have the timestamp on it?
I think 4835.
48.
004835.
This is what I have at 4835 right here.
I think if you keep continuing, it'll review. Oh, never mind.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, right here, that one right there.
Okay. So you just like you really are into like the flashbacks and him as a kid. You've chosen those for a couple
I
new
don't know
scenes now.
because the flashbacks are like intense to me because like while watching the movie and like finishing it, it's like thinking back about these little parts. It's like just the cameras and just explains what happens without even saying anything.
Interesting. Right. Because that's Rachel buried under the ground there. Not too far away. June 10th, 2021. Not too far off. Chan, what do you have for your best scene?
I said 16:45. So 16 minutes, 45 seconds.
Right here?
And I just like when he puts like, I don't know like what it is, but it's like some futuristic like glue. It just, you can see the cut just close up by itself. And I just thought like how far we could go in this world since it's like 2049. We're at 2020. I thought it was just a gnarly shot.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's because he's a replicant or they just have that technology for everybody. I mean, replicants are supposedly, basically just, almost clones of people. They're not like robots. They're flesh and blood, but they're stronger and, can do more things. Yeah, that is pretty wild. I liked, let me see if I can find it here. I like these scenes here.
Interlinked.
Do you feel that there's a part of you that's missing? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Within cells, interlinked.
Within cells interlinked.
Why don't you say that 3 times? Within cells,
Yeah.
interlinked.
And it's kind of like his testing of his like, I don't know, programming or whatever. And basically he's reading like Within Cells Interlinked is a poem from Vladimir Nabokov called Pale Fire, and that was one thing that they had Kay reciting was lines from this poem, but there was another take that they did a number of times where it was an 8-minute long monologue that Gosling had to memorize, and apparently he hit it every time, like the same beats, the same timing from every angle. So I always think that's kind of interesting that he's hitting an 8-minute long monologue precisely from multiple angles. Because the speed and the pace of the dialogue in these scenes kind of trips me out too, and it does get you into this kind of rhythmic, hypnotic state. So I always think those scenes are interesting. Let's see here. Jose, what do you got for your best scene?
My best scene was at 11:52. Is when, when he picks up the dead flowers. It really, the way that the camera focuses a lot on the flowers was honestly my favorite part out of it, and the way he looks at it and he smells it kind of really catches my attention. Of like, is he like, yeah, the way he just picks it up, it catches a lot of my attention, and yeah.
I mean, this world where it's very hard to grow anything because the environment's so destroyed,
Dead.
and that this tiny little flower is so precious almost, because everything else. I mean, this tree, just even real wood makes you rich, right? The guy says later on, "Oh, that's real wood. I can get you, that you're rich." Everything is
30
artificial.
meters to maximum depth.
This tree can't survive anymore, but they keep it up with the cables because they don't want it to fall down because it's precious. Dereja, what's your number one favorite scene?
Well, I had two, but
Okay.
like it's basically the same chance. So I'll just do my second one.
Mhm.
I had a hour 42, 41. It's like when he was just got to, yeah. I just really like the color grading, and it was like quiet, and it's like one of the calmest scenes. Like he's just looking around
Mhm.
and it's going slow. I really just liked it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was eerie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're kind of anticipating the reveal of Deckard at this point, and then you're leaning in and holding your breath, and waiting for it to happen in this old abandoned casino.
Then he got shot.
It's quiet, yeah. But then there's the trip line. Doesn't he find a trip line here pretty soon? Yeah. Yep, right here. There it is. Don't be careful. Sneaky, sneaky. All right. So that's good stuff. Let's go. Let's jump to casting changes. Do you guys have any actors or actresses that you thought you might want to change up and try someone different in a role somewhere? Brandon, did you have any changes to make?
I actually could not think of any changes. I think everybody did a good job on their own parts.
All right. Daniel, any changes for you?
No, I don't have any.
No? Does anyone have one? Should I just ask straight off the bat? Oh, Chan's got one.
Oh.
Unmute, Chan. Hit us.
I got one. Like, even though everyone did like such a good job, I just want to see like Matt Damon in like this sci-fi.
As K?
Yeah, cause like I know he's really good in like the Jason Bourne series. So I want to see how his take on this movie.
Yeah. I wonder. I'm trying to think if Damon can pull off the kind of intensity. Dereja, you got something to say? Unmute real quick, and then hit us.
Okay, I would change Ryan Gosling. I just can't really see him playing in some. I mean, he did a good job, but I can't see him doing it. I don't remember the name of the guy who I changed it to, but it was The Ugly Truth. If you know the actor for that,
I'll find it.
yeah.
Ugly Truth. Gerard Butler. So you think Gerard Butler in place of K? That I think I can see more than Damon. Damon doesn't. I don't know if he's got the weight for it. You know what I mean? Like Damon movies are fun, Born Identity and The Martian, and I mean, I guess in Good Will Hunting he kind of does some heavy lifting, but this one I don't know. Butler might work. Butler might work. Jose, you got any changes?
No, I didn't have any changes. I feel like they all did a really good job,
Felt it
and
right on the money.
I feel like, yeah.
I got one.
Yeah, you could do it.
I think everyone did beautifully, but I would change K. I don't know. It was just an opinion. I think the Jason Statman or
Jason Statham?
Yeah, Statham. Yeah, that guy. I really think that he would do a great job.
Statham's got the action chops. I don't know
Yeah.
again if he's got the weight that Gosling's got. Can I see Statham crying and breaking down in different moments? I mean, my only thought would be, and I don't even know who I would replace it with, would be why can't I think of this character's name now? Faith. She's definitely scary. But I wonder if it's a little too scary. You really never even feel anything other than like terror and anger at her. So I wonder if a different actress could maybe bring a little more nuanced to the part. But she definitely scares me. That's for sure throughout the whole film. Do you guys have any scenes that maybe don't work so good? Scenes that you thought maybe they could have that don't work for you that you would adjust and change in any way? Like to see done differently, Brandon?
I think the scenes were pretty hard to think about, like what doesn't work now, because I think I don't know, the scenes were pretty,
well, even if it's like if it's
out
a
there.
music or a certain shot or a concept, maybe not just a scene. Then
I think the 3810 concept, for the most part, I think wouldn't like work well.
wait, which concept is that?
That's the one with the child that comes out of like the bag.
Oh, when Jared Leto's character
Yeah.
kills her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely. I was definitely appalled. Like, I mean, it is
I think,
scary,
yeah, just like disturbing more, I think.
disturbing. Right? It's he's mad that he can't create a replicant that can give birth the way that Rachel could, right? Even though he's kind of made better replicants in other ways than the ones from the past, he's still that one part still eludes him, and he's just so angry, and he kind of sees them as disposable, perhaps. Yeah, I remember being like, "What?" Like freaking out when that scene happened, and it's an intense scene for sure. Daniel, you got any scenes that you might change up? Or new certain
Not
concepts.
not really anything I think I'd change up. I kind of wish though that we got to see more of Jared Leto's character
Mm-hmm.
because we see him in this scene, and then I don't think we see him at all until he meets Harrison Ford.
Yep, it's
And
two
then
scenes. I think that's it.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like I kind of wish his character got more attention.
Yeah, I'll take
I
that as a
guess
change. I'll take that.
because he kind of just has this like weird complex, but then that's really all you know about him. I don't know.
Yeah,
It would have been kind of cool to see him, get him to know him as like a person.
Yeah, and you don't even really
Maybe
get
that
to.
was the point though.
Yeah, he's kind of an enigma and mystery. With his weird cyber eyes that float around is, unexplained. Henry, anything from you for something that doesn't quite work for you?
I don't know because this movie is hard. I don't know. Maybe I think the one scene when he got into a plane crash, and
When he's going to the orphans.
yeah, and then like there's like no reaction at all when he was falling.
Well, he's a replicant, he
Yeah,
I think he
that's
knows that
like
he's gonna be okay. He's just kind of.
that's why I thought about it. I was like, maybe because he's a replicant, and yeah.
That is a wild scene. Is he already unconscious? And he goes, or is he just pinned against the wall or something? He just can't move. Too many G-forces. Yeah. All right. So maybe a little bit different take on the crash. Chan, what about you?
Yeah, I thought this movie was like really hard to find because at first I thought Officer K had like a weak reaction on how he was acting, but then as I watched him more, he just like he got better, like he broke down, and he has a deep past, and yeah, it was really hard.
Well, I think like you said, and like you said, he thinks he's just a standard run-of-the-mill replicant, and so he's very like business, go about his business. But then as the film goes on, he starts to believe that he's special. The cracks kind of start to show. So I think that's an interesting take, right? That he's a good choice by the actor to kind of have him become more and more human, I guess. Jose, what about you? Oh, unmute.
Sorry.
All right.
Mine. It was like everyone has been saying that it was pretty hard. I feel like on this 2 hours, 15 and 10 seconds, I feel like that scene was really, really long.
Let's go there right now. 0 to 15. So this with Rachel showing up.
No, it's a little bit before Rachel shows up. The before, when he's just sitting there talking with him, I feel like it was pretty long. And that's the only thing I can really say about that, about it.
And this is the scene that kind of demand like the most tie into the original movie. If you haven't seen the original movie, I can see that this scene can feel long. And they said that also, right? They had to straddle this fine line. It's hard to make a sequel 35 years after the fact. We have to make it stand on its own merits, but also it's part of the same world, so it has to have some connections. So without seeing the first movie, I can see how this scene does feel long.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
haven't
quite
seen
make
the
much
first.
sense.
Yeah.
Dereja, what about you?
It was like an hour and 27.
01:27.
Okay. And when she was sinking, I understand it was supposed to be like wholesome in some type of way, but I wish they could have like changed since like she basically took over. I think her name's Love, the prostitute.
Mhm.
When she basically took her over her, they should have just like changed her, changed out the character and just had Joy there as like being a real person because, you know, she technically synced. I didn't like that her hands were like, you know, a second late and stuff, and when she was like undressing.
Yeah.
But I understand because, you know, she's a hologram.
Yeah. I remember watching this shot here where it's like pretty much Joy's face, and then as she walks, the face like morphs into the other actress's face, and it's like kind of all, and then it's like a blend of the two faces, and you can like see it shifting. It's just unbelievable. I mean, like, and then kind of like two of them, like you can see the kind of the two eyes at the same time. Um, I thought that Joy's effects were some of my favorite parts of the film. The way, like when she walked outside, and had the hologram rain on her, and I was like, "What? This is blowing my mind." And I think her death probably impacted me the most when Faith, I think that's her name, Faith, smashes her transponder right here. Um, it's so like that's the one that got me more than anything, even though she's like even more fake than Kay. Um, I don't know. That one kind of got to me. All right, let's get to our last question. Who won the movie? So, uh, it could be anyone. Do you think an actor? Do you think a director? Do you think a concept? Do you think the idea of sequels, 35-year sequels, won the movie? What won the movie? If you have a scene, I mean, you don't have to have a scene for this one, but if you have a scene, give me a time frame. Brandon, who won this movie?
I put 3 roles. Is that okay?
Sure.
I put the writers, directors, and most definitely editors, because if you think about it, a lot of this movie is like CG and editing
Mm-hmm.
for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
and the writers and directors I think did a really good job on like what to do exactly and what lines to make, all the dialogue and everything.
I mean, it's a film noir, so it's about the journey more than the destination a lot. So that's really up to the writers, and then like you said, the editors, the color graders, and the effects artists really hit it out of the park with this one. Daniel, what do you think? Who won this movie?
I put Roger Deakins, the DP,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. I think when I picture this movie, I always just picture like it's always just the look of it, and I don't know. I like a lot of Roger Deakins' work,
Yep.
and I feel like it was just really good in this movie.
He won, I think. Yeah, this was his first. He won his first Oscar was for Blade Runner. Even though he'd been nominated multiple other times, um, and he's so famous. His first Oscar win is Blade Runner, and then he won again in 2020 for 1917. Um, but yeah, he's one of the great cinematographers, and he definitely deserves it for some of the shots in this one. That's why I picked it for the camera crew. The shots in this film are just, some of them are just unreal. The reflections, the light, we've talked about a couple times, the hologram fight scene, wherever that is, and I want to find it and look at it one more time. Because it's the light in this scene, I can't imagine trying to light this and get it, all correct. That would be a challenge for sure. So he's got Deakins. What do you think, Nguyen? What do you think, Henry?
In my opinion, I think both editors and cameramen were a great job in this movie, because this movie is just CGI and just full of editing. And then I think cameramen were good too, because a lot of the shots were impactful and had a lot of meaning to it, even though it's like just a quiet shot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think most of the film is pretty steady. There's not a ton of handheld. It's all pretty smooth for the most part, right? Steady
Yeah.
cams and jibs and dollies and things like that. There's not a lot of real shaky stuff going on. So that's definitely something to think about. You've got your whole camera crew out there, right? Running the jibs, running the dollies and all that stuff. So a lot of hands-on in the camera department. Chan, what do you got?
I'd said the editor because like a lot of the shots, like the camera operator, like a lot of shots for him was really good, but without the editor, it wouldn't be possible for the camera operator to make it work. Like the CGI cities, the holograms, and like the neon nights of the.
Hmm.
There's this one scene where Officer K he goes into the city to. He's just looking at a picture, and I thought like his surrounding was really.
Do you know the time of it?
Um, no, I
All
do
right.
not. I think it's like when the prostitutes come to him. Yeah.
Oh, at the end to like tell him that they need his help,
Or it was like the beginning.
or the when he's like eating out in the city. Is that what it is? And they
Yeah.
find him the first time. Oh, right here. This stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting, like the original Blade Runner had what they called the Blade Runner curse, where a lot of the corporations that were listed on the neon were like Atari and Pan Am Airlines, which were big in 1982, and then they subsequently went bankrupt in the years just after. But here in this version of Earth, right, Pan Am and Atari are still, I think their logos are still in the film in various places. So the Blade Runner curse didn't quite hit them as hard in the movie world. Yeah, the lighting here is really cool. Man, that's cold though. You're turning on your fellow camera operators and giving it to the editors though, man. I don't know. All right, Jose, what do you got?
Camera operators and the editors did a really good job. I feel like without both of them, the movie wouldn't be as pretty cool shot wise. The color, the lighting, and yeah, they overall did a really good job. It's a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, you're right. The lighting. That's why, like, I think Daniel's point of Deacons, right? He's the one controlling all the light, controlling what lens you're using, how it's being shot, what lens, what aperture to use. That's all the DP's job is to make all those decisions, and then you let the camera operators control it. And then Dereja, what do you have for who won the movie?
Well, at first I said the costume design, but then I
Mm-hmm.
changed my mind. I would have to say the editors. Like they took this one, everything they did was just right.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know. I like camera work was important, but like you said, it was steady. Nothing really happened. I really do like handheld scenes, camera work. But yeah, the editors.
All right, so editors and deacons. I mean, I don't think this movie won any other Oscars than cinematography. Two Oscars. Sound editing. Oh no, never mind. Excuse me. Visual effects. One for visual effects. One for cinematography was nominated in sound and production design. And production design would be everything, would be costume design and set design and all those kind of visual things. So one for best cinematography and special effects. So you guys are pretty much right on there, right? We said the editing and the special effects and the cinematography of Deacons, and those are the things that they won the Oscar for. So you guys should put in your application to be part of the Academy and start making some votes for some movies. All right, so any final thoughts? Anything left unsaid that you got to get off your chest about Blade Runner before we sign off today?
It reminds me. It's like an alternative, darker version of Fifth Element. I mean, they have nothing in common, but it also reminds me of Fifth Element at the same time.
Yeah, like the trash and kind of the big sprawling cities. And Fifth Element is the fun highlighter buddy cop movie, right? And Blade Runner is the dark neo noir, introspective, brooding cousin of it. I see it. I believe it. Anyone else before we call it a day? All right. Well, thank you to DVTV's camera operators for being here and watching Blade Runner with us. Come back next week, and we will have the actors of DVTV discussing Black Swan. And you can watch that. We'll also put it in our Slate It playlist, so you can check it out if you enjoy our conversations with the students of Deer Valley Television. Until then, take it easy, and we'll see you next time.